I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The bid results. Contract 2209, electrical underground material.
This bid was opened at 2 o'clock last Friday. The board has a copy of all the bid results. I would ask the board to table this because there are a few things that we need to look into.
I make a motion that we table it till our next meeting.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor vote by the use of sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Open the meeting for comments from the public at this time. Anybody wishing to address the board may do so. State your name and your address, please.
I'm Rosemary Coy. I live at 23 Columbus Drive. What I'd like to talk to you about, first off, I would like to ask, I have a group from our area. You've seen us many times before. We are wondering at this point in time, have you have anything in the works or any plans for getting us power in our town?
Not at this time, Rosemary. Now, I can tell you. We have a court order from back in the 70s about power, gas, and electric. The only way that we're ever going to be able to do anything for you people is that gas and electric will come around to us. Or you people go to them. I don't know how it's going to work. All I know is that we're not going to step on their toes because of this court order.
They have
Okay.
a franchise and there's nothing we can really do about it.
Okay, well, what I did want to talk about is that I have a friend who is a village resident. She lives in a 5-room apartment. She gets village electric and her heat. Her utility bills for her electric amount to $360 a year. Now, I, on the other hand, I have a little larger home, and I have on the average pay probably $90 a month, give or take, for electric. My costs are $1,080. All right. Now we have other people here. Some of their bills are more costly because they have families. And I don't know about them, but I think at this point in time we need a little help from these people. Over the last 20 years, we've been annexed in the village now 21 years, if I'm correct, Pam? Yeah. If I take and add $120 for the size of my home onto that 360, that's $480. And that's an average amount of $600 more than I am paying a year for electrical power. And paying village taxes. And over a 20-year period, you're talking over $12,000 that I have paid for utilities. Now put yourself in our positions here. It doesn't somehow seem fair, does it?
How do you twist their arm though? They don't want to give their customers up.
Okay, but right now, it's different. They've gone through deregulation,
And so haven't we.
okay? And in the brochure, the packet they sent out, they give us some options. They don't give you very much literature, but they give you the options to pick and choose from, okay? And I noticed I got down at the bottom after the third choice, and it's got aggregation. Another supplier option. Individual energy users can join together to form a buying group to secure more competitive energy prices than they might otherwise receive working independently, called aggregation. This process may be a supplier option for you to investigate. Groups in your area that may be aggregating include Chamber of Commerce, county, or state governments, neighborhood associations. Now, from what I have online, can I give you the literature I have here? I went online. I have a little further more information about aggregation. And what it seems, I had a conversation with Dale at work Friday about it.
Thank you.
And it doesn't, from what I'm reading in this, I'm getting out of this that you don't have to buy lines, that a group would go in and negotiate electric price for you. And because you're negotiating for a group, the cost would be better for that group. Now, this is something that I would hope in life that you might consider doing for us and any other consumers of electrical power in the village that don't enjoy the benefit of village power. After the figures I have mentioned to you, I further thought that ethically speaking, you almost have a moral obligation to people such as us who have been in the village to maybe to help supplement some of our energy costs or absorb some of our energy costs in some ways, or look into it at least.
I think we can look into it. That's not a, not a problem.
Yeah.
I am not sure, and I'm gonna make a statement here, but I'm not sure, but we belong to an association called the Municipal Electric Association, State of New York. It's 42 municipalities that have municipal power, and not one of us is in this group, and I'm not even sure we can be.
But you can negotiate for us.
I'm not even sure of that.
Yes, you can.
Well, let me make a suggestion to you. On November 21st, and this letter's going to be read tonight, the Public Service Commission is holding a public hearing at the Clinton County Cornell Property Extension in Plattsburgh, New York, from 1 to 4 p.m. on this subject, on power and gas. And there's a whole agenda here. Discussion of partnership program with New York State Electric and Gas. And I'm not sure we can do any of this. I'm really not, because we haven't looked into anything of this. Basically, we leave it up to the Municipal Electric Association.
But from what I'm getting from literature from this, that is possible. And
I'm not
from
going
the
to say it
literature-
isn't. I'm not going to say it isn't, because I don't know.
And I think that in light of the situation of how we have tried through the years, I know you've tried too, to buy the franchise for us, things always seem to have fallen apart. You have new services that you're giving to people off in Smith Street for new streets, costing thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars probably. And here we are sitting there paying village taxes for over 21 years now, and this is the best I'm hearing from you right now. I have a problem with this.
But Rosemary, there's one thing you have to understand.
Yeah,
That's all new development. NICEAG doesn't have their hands in it.
well,
There's
I
nothing we can
understand
do to
We
take
have to
that
supply
from them.
We have to supply.
I know that, but,
We cannot take that from them. If
But-
we could, we
well, I would
would.
like to hear what you're gonna do for us, now that we brought this to
We
your
would
attention.
love to do anything for you,
Well,
if we could.
I plan to attend that meeting, and I'm hoping some of the board members can. And see to find out, because we don't know. Bob Clark and I have attended every municipal electric meeting since I've been mayor, right? And not once has this issue come up in the 42 municipalities that are there, not once.
But the thing, I'm also looking at, I researched some of this also, and if you look at all these people, these are all businesses that are selling electricity, which the municipality is not.
No, but you would be negotiating for us as a group to buy.
I understand.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying,
Yeah, and that might be
but
a
it still
problem.
might not be any cheaper for you, because you still have to bring it, NICEAG still has to bring you the
I know
power.
the wheeling costs are the expensive part of it.
Right.
But until we look into it, or someone helps us or assists us with it,
Maybe
we are at the mercy of whatever charges that we pick and choose from the plans they offer.
Right.
Maybe we can get them an answer that is specific to our situation as a
Yeah,
municipal
we
electric
don't know.
provider
Right.
bordering a NICEAG franchise. Maybe we can find out how this applies to their specific situation.
How many families are you talking about now? I mean, I can see there's probably 8, 10 here.
Well, there's 15 households at our end. Now, I know that you have carrier apartments also,
Half and half.
half and half. You have that, and I don't know if you have any other situations in the village where you have anything else like this going on.
Just outside, probably.
Carrier apartments, you know what they did, they put gas in their half
Instead of electric.
instead of electric.
per unit.
Right. But they still have to pay, they still have electric bill
Right.
for their other appliances, just like we do. I have a house that's full electric and I can't utilize it. I have 3 heating systems in my house.
I can understand that. I really
It's
can.
very perplexing.
It is, it's very perplexing for us also.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we can.
We would love to, you know, to take every one of the customers in and give them our cheap electricity, and we do it in a heartbeat. But there's laws and there's rules and regulations and
I know
everything
that.
else that,
I know that, but we also need your support right now to look into this, because we have only till the 31st of December, and then we have to pick and choose something.
Well,
Let's get together and see what, how their specific situation
make some-
applies to this literature.
yes.
make some
And
phone
see what
calls.
we can do.
I agree, we have an obligation.
We have an
to look into
obligation
what it
to that.
is. We
Yes.
can't.
You know,
Yeah.
I think we get a hold of Bob Perkins from Gas and Electric. We have a pretty good rapport with him.
George, you can't deal with NICIC. You gotta go through our people, because we joined the agency, okay? You gotta go through Steve Wilson. I've already talked about this situation. We can't go around it because they're not in the franchise area. The franchise line is drawn specifically for NICIC. You can't go outside their borders unless they sell us the piece of property. They won't sell it to us. We went through that. He's a FERC lawyer. Those guys, you know that yourself, and we talked about that 100 times at the meeting, me and him, when we're sitting there alone, because we've been trying to get this thing up there for a long time. We almost had it once.
I know that, it was so close.
Beth can tell you that. We were so close to getting it, that was like, next day, they called us and said, no, we're not gonna sell it to
Because
you.
there was negotiations because of the gas, trying to bring gas through,
Well,
trying to.
I don't know if that's what it was the gas or not, but it was very, very close.
Do you think, Bobby, with any of this new literature that she's describing, that it would be worth?
See, NICIC,
See, this isn't buying a franchise, Bobby, this is you
Yep.
negotiating a price for it.
no, we can't, because NICIC, see, the deregulation says you gotta have more than one provider. More than one provider. NICIC does. They've got 2 now. They got NICIC and they got Orange. Okay? And I was talking to a couple people, and they're going from like 11 cents to 7 cents, somewhere in that area. I don't know exactly, because I didn't read the thing over. I'm not interested in it, because it's not part of us. But it's gonna drop from 11 to 7 for you guys, if you take the Orange. But what happens after that, I don't know. I don't know if there's a wheeling charge on top of that or not.
Of course there's a wheeling charge.
See, and, you know, that's what they do. They're not, they've done exactly what they're supposed to do to satisfy the regulations, but, you know, you as customers take the raft of whatever happens.
But also in there too, it says that a group can negotiate pricing for you.
But
And I would like to have that looked into,
You
Bobby.
can, as a group, yeah, you can go, but like the village, as far as getting outside their franchise, they can't. I'll be almost honest with you. I know what the answer's gonna be is no, because we can look into it, but I can call Steve again tomorrow. It's not a big deal, but.
Because it says written brochure that someone can negotiate pricing for you as a group. And if you are a group, that you can get better, more effective rates. And at least we should be entitled to that at this point in time.
Yeah.
Certainly, we'll do it again, and I would behoove you to, maybe if you can, attend that meeting in Plattsburgh, if anybody can.
When is the meeting?
It is Thursday, November 21st, from 1 to 4 p.m., Clinton County Cornell Cooperative Extension 6064, Route 22, Suite 5, Plattsburgh. It's on Route 22. I don't know just where.
I can provide an
Just north
agenda
of,
for you.
where Bucks.
Can you?
Oh, okay. Another hour.
I don't know if anyone else has anything else to say.
The people who will be there is the Public Service Commission, the state of New York, and NICEC is supposed to be there. And there's several things going to be talked about. Voice your choice, information and educational material needs, PSC mailing and material, environmental disclosures, green power. I don't know what green power is. I don't know what it is.
How long has these come out? I heard it on the radio like last week.
I just got this last week. All of us just got ours last week, so it's relatively new, and I started reading through it, and then I saw that section on aggregation, And right away, it said that local government can be involved with acting as a bargaining tool for us to get better rates.
Well, that might work out fine, and I'm only throwing a little negative in here, like for the village of Champlain, because they're not a municipal power.
They don't have the power already.
I don't know, but we'll certainly check into it and see what we can find out.
What's a kilowatt? What do you pay a kilowatt, do you know?
I'm not sure.
About 13.5 cents.
13 cents a kilowatt.
13 cents.
Plus or minus.
Wow.
Yeah, wow,
Wow,
right.
Wow is right, that's right.
Over that.
And what is it with the village currently right now?
Anywhere around from 3 to 7.
Yeah, isn't that awful? Depending if there's a surcharge.
Well, well, with surcharge, you gotta understand, since deregulation, we no longer have nuclear power. We broke off from the power authority.
You have so much money, power that you get for a certain price, and if you go over it, you pay extra.
Yeah, we negotiated with another
But we pay NICEAG also,
big time.
big time.
Yeah.
We pay NICEAG
And,
over $1 million a year.
Also, while I'm here, what's going on with the village going into a city? Because I understood if that occurred, that we would be brought into a city corporation, and that would take care of our woes.
Not necessarily.
It could, though.
It
Very well
could, but that's not necessarily.
If you were in our city boundaries, yeah, then we could give you city power.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure where NICEAG goes into the city of Plattsburgh. You know, I'm sure there would be some wheeling and dealing over that if it ever happened.
You gotta realize that NICEAG doesn't wanna give up your accounts. 15 people paying, you know, that's a lot of money.
But now all they're getting, the wheeling charges are going to be, they're not going to, the wheeling charges is what's going to make the money. They're only getting so much per kilowatt hour for providing us the service at this point in time. Whoever's doing the wheeling is getting the money on this.
Yeah, but I can just about guarantee you that NICEAG's got a hand in
And
whoever
what I'm
whoever's supplying
worried
you
about
that power.
is right now, the prices will be fixed until 2006, and then after that, because you've heard all kinds of things in the news about California, the same thing has occurred out there. And there's been a lot of heartache for people because of this, because of the deregulation that occurred out there.
Well, deregulation wasn't good for the consumer.
No,
Bottom line,
no.
Not at all.
and I mean, I told the chairman of the Public Service Commission that, and she got very upset with me. But bottom line, the consumer's gonna end up paying, yours is all done.
That's right, and there's not, and this is where it's a problem. We kind of really need someone to say, all right, we'll help you out. And really, we're asking for help here.
Like I say, we'll check into it.
We'll do whatever
That's all
we
we can
can.
do at this point.
Come to the next meeting.
Well, if we find out, then we can,
If
we can send out a letter
information
also.
Yeah.
We can send, I mean, we have, it's only 15 letters, for 15 hours.
Anybody else? Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Really appreciate it. To say, we'll do what we can.
Well, it's a long time overdue.
Gary, there's nothing I can do
I
about
know
that.
that, George, but what I'm saying is 21 years is a long time. I mean, we've been so close as a couple of different times, and it's just nerve-wracking, you know, for the people who live up.
What?
We're like the black sheep of Rouses Point. We're trying to, you know.
Yeah, George, did the village buy a franchise for some of the residents on that street? Because when,
No.
well, what about Bob Gatto's house in,
Bob Gatto, and the last house, I believe, in the district, correct me if I'm wrong, is Ronnie McLean.
right?
And they're in our franchise district.
Yeah, but when we were going through the annexation process, they were not, because they were on my committee, and they were not in.
Well, I don't know, you're talking before, I got,
20 years ago, but.
yeah.
I remember.
You're getting confused. The annexation, we have customers that are in the town
Right.
because of our franchise area. It's just like everything on 276, that's in the town, it's not in the village. We service those people out there, but that's our franchise area.
So
See, there's
Bob
a
was always
difference
there
between
then?
the town and a franchise. A franchise area
Okay.
is a confined space where you operate in.
So
that-
Bob and Rodney were always under.
Yes,
New York
yes, where the
State.
fine line went across.
Okay.
It comes down across like that, and it takes Junior's field up there, and it cuts it just like that, and go right down, you know where, is it Ernie Martin lives on Smith Street?
Right.
There's a hedgerow right there, it cuts right into that hedgerow, right straight across the road.
Why was he on my committee then?
What?
To become annexed?
Because that's our franchise area.
You might, that's not, you see what, there's a
Being a
difference
village.
between franchise and village lines.
I'm positive he was not getting services.
Well, he's had services ever since he built that house, Rodney.
Rodney was, Rodney built that service.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's,
Well, he's before
Oh,
Rodney.
yeah, Donald.
Yeah, God knows that.
So the house,
That's where we end, right there.
the house is after,
Ronnie receives
Smith Street don't get village either?
Pardon?
No. The house is on top of Smith Street, Colin Duffy, and they're not?
No.
no, they're not village.
No.
It stops right there, that hedgerow right there.
That
And
last-
actually,
How about Woodward?
No.
no,
No,
No.
no, nothing up from Ernie Martin's house up is gas electric.
Do they all pay village taxes too?
No, they're not in the village.
Why does this say it?
I had nothing to do with that either.
They don't get much more tax dollars.
They're not
Too
there.
high though, are they? No, Norris? Taxes aren't too high though?
I don't know.
Not village taxes.
The mayor at that time said within 4 years we'd have village power. That's why we took their word for it. You know, the village board at that time, we took their word for it, you know? Of course, I'm not saying that it's their fault that it didn't happen, but it's somebody's fault.
So we're not dealing with them at all then? I mean, we're not trying to redo this, or?
Not right at this present time. The last time that they negotiated, I believe they wanted $90,000 for their infrastructure. I'm not sure, but I think that was the figure that was thrown out. We can't use one piece of it. It's not compatible with our system. So I mean, it all had to be tore out, and we had to put in new. So when we got all done, we're in the neighborhood of probably $250,000 to $300,000 investment just for that area. Now they won't even sell it to us. They won't even talk to us. I mean, we had figured this all out. But before my time on the board, it was a dead deal.
Well, the worst part about this too, not only does it affect our electric rates, it also affects our housing, our marketing for our houses.
Well, Lord.
Makes your house worth less, not more, right?
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Does anybody else wish to address the board this time? If not, you'll have a chance at the end of the meeting. Minutes of the previous meeting of October 21st. And thank you all for coming. You all have copies of the minutes?
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes, that's written.
Motion made and seconded to accept the minutes as written. Any discussion?
Yes, I have one question. Actually, it's for Doug. In discussing the betterment project on Route 11, I thought I understood you to say that the state was asking us to leave that in as an option. Is that, wasn't there something that you said last time about that?
I said that.
I think George said that.
Okay.
Because
I'm sorry, I thought you said that.
Councilman Crayon has asked the state to leave it in as an option.
Okay,
It's got nothing to do with us.
so that, the letter being sent, that is the case, but they are gonna be in contact with the state?
Yeah, we're out of
Okay,
it.
okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by using sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Bills, you all have copies of the bills. Is there any additions or deletions?
No, there is not.
Thank you.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion made and seconded to pay the bills. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by using sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Correspondence.
This piece of correspondence we have is from Montgomery Hosewicke and Ladder Company addressed to mayor and trustees. We wish to inform you of 2 new members who have been approved to our company for a probationary period of 6 months. Sean Shagman of Maple Street and Daniel Letourneau, 38 Woodhaven Drive. Please act on these members as soon as possible. Also be advised that Rita Knapp and Dale Bushy are no longer members of our company.
Make a motion that we accept these two for probationary period of 6 months.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried.
The next letter is the one you were referring to a few minutes ago. Dear consumer leader, the New York State Public Service Commission invites you to join us in discussing energy issues affecting New Yorkers. Last spring, we held partnership meetings in New York City, Albany, Binghamton, Syracuse, and East Aurora. The closest meeting here is Thursday, November 21st, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., Clinton County Cornell Cooperative Extension, 6064 Room 2, Suite 5 in Plattsburgh, New York. I also have an agenda which I would be happy to copy and make available to anyone here.
Rosemary, is that the name of the program? Is it Voice Your Choice? Is that what's on your flyer that you got?
Well, it's an enrollment kit, actually.
Okay.
And we have the suppliers, I have a list of all the suppliers in there and what I gave you.
Okay.
There's several companies that we can pick from. We really don't have any information except for what NYSEC has given us as to what our better options are, or what our good choices are for it.
It seems like it's the same thing, because it says a special enrollment period ending December 31st.
Right, exactly.
There's also a website on here, too.
So I plan to attend that meeting. Board members kind of wish they would. It might be very enlightening for us.
You might get some of the answers from here, George. You might get some of the answers that we
Yeah.
got right from here. Yeah.
Yeah, because I went in and I pulled online some of the most asked questions that they've had in there. I pulled together that for you so you could have the list of the suppliers.
Okay, next piece of correspondence.
The next piece you have is from New York State Division of Housing and Community Renewal. It's regarding the sidewalk revitalization project. Thank you for submitting an application for funding through the 2002 Adirondack North Country Community Enhancement Program. We appreciate the time and talent that went into preparing your application, as well as the desire to improve the vitality of your community. As you may be aware, response to this program was overwhelming. We received over 150 applications requesting a total of $3.3 million. Our decisions were extremely difficult since we had only $1 million to award under this program, and unfortunately, due to limited resources, your proposal was not selected for funding. I did speak to the grant writer today, and she is going to ask to have our application critiqued, so if this program is run again, that we can reapply.
Thank you.
That's the extent of the correspondence.
Report of mayor and trustees. I have a resolution. It's hereby given that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point, Clinton County, New York, on the 4th day of November 2002, pass a resolution designating the office to be voted on in the next village election. Copy of the complete resolution as follows. Trustee 2 years, trustee 2 years. Roll call vote. Trustee Menard?
Aye.
Trustee Huckrow? Trustee Penfield?
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson?
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye. I request executive session for contract negotiations. Roll call vote. I make that a motion.
Second.
Roll call vote. Trustee Menard?
Aye.
Trustee Huckrow? Trustee Penfield?
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson?
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye, and that's it for the mayor. Trustee Menard?
First item is, I would also like to make a motion to request an executive session for 2 customer accounts.
Second that.
Motion made and second. Roll call vote. I know you're tired by the time this is over. Trustee Menard?
Aye.
Trustee Huckrow? Trustee Penfield?
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson?
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye.
My second item is I would also like to put in form of a motion to request another executive session for police personnel.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote. Trustee Menard?
Aye.
Trustee Huckrow? Trustee Penfield?
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson?
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye.
And my third item is from last meeting, the MEUA engineering workshop. Bobby, did you have a chance to get a hold of any of the guys and see if they were
Yeah.
interested in going?
Yeah, I've got one guy, one other guy's supposed to let me know this week if he can go or not.
So make a motion that we approve 2 people to go to the engineering workshop on December 4th and 5th.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in vote for the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
And my last item is a discussion on the winter plowing. And how about it, Alan?
As you know, the winter plowing's up. We have two places now we talked about is Lincoln Boulevard. Since they turned the lighting off down there, are we still gonna plow it? It's not our street, it belongs to the local development corporation.
Eric's still down there?
Can I ask you if the table until the next meeting so we can do some further discussion about it?
Yes, you
Sure.
may.
Yeah, but what happens if it snows in the meantime? You tell me what to do. Now, plow it or
Plow
not
it.
plow it?
Yeah.
We have been plowing it.
Yeah. Eric's is down there in the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have some apprehensions, and I expressed that to you today.
Yes, you did.
Is that with no streetlights down there, and the plow hits one of them streetlights in the dark, they're liable.
Why have the lights been turned off?
Because we don't own the street, they do, and
They shut the power.
they wanted it shut off, but they don't want to pay for the power and streetlights.
Now, John and I are gonna talk
We're
with
gonna
them
be
tomorrow,
talking.
Okay,
and we'll see if they're gonna turn power back on.
okay. While we're on the subject of winter powering, may I interrupt for a minute?
Sure.
Parking ban takes effect December 1st through March 31st. No parking on the streets from the hours, I think it's 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning to at least 6 or 7. I'm not sure,
2 a.m. to 6 a.m.
to 6 a.m. so that when they can clean and plow the streets. I'm just putting it out for general information, fair warning. If you get ticketed or towed, you know what happened. Thank you.
Put the winter plowing till next meeting, so we can talk about it. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, trustee Menard. Trustee Huckrow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First thing, I would like to request an executive session to discuss administrative personnel.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote. Trustee Menard.
Aye.
Trustee Huckrow.
Aye.
Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye.
Thank you. I would like to request an executive session to discuss retirement personnel.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote. Trustee Menard.
Aye.
Trustee Huckrow.
Aye.
Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye.
Thank you. Doug, update on water projects?
Tonight, we've got Eric Schwenke with us, the lead inspector. He'll be
Thank you.
bringing us up to speed.
With the water project, the concrete construction has completed up on the new water tank, and they're working on the steel fabrication of the tank. They've completed the inner cone rigging and jig work, and they've done their welding on it. When they come in tomorrow, this week, they're going to continue with the erection of the steel tank and the welding. The intention is to have it painted and raised to the top of the concrete tower in the spring of 2003. The remaining portion of the project is planned on being bid in sufficient time to allow spring startup mid-February, hopefully late January. And this week we're going to have a project meeting number 4, Thursday, November 7th at 9 a.m. Primarily that's going to be to review the welding procedures and the testing required for the welding of the tank. Any questions?
How much is the cold weather slowing them down, Eric?
At this point, it's not affecting them significantly at all, other than making it a little comfortable for them. If it starts getting a lot of snow, that would probably slow them down. The thickness of the metal requires preheating, but the thickness of the metal doesn't make it prohibitive with the weather at this point to preheat it. With the water project, at the water plant, we worked on the zebra mussel control project where we were having problems with the 4-inch containment line surfacing in the marina. So with Bob Clark and our office, we came up with a plan to install anchors along that containment line
all in under the docks of Dennis Richards Marina. And in the last couple of weeks, we were able to install all them so that we won't have the containment line rising up anymore like it was. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me see. You should have in your folders a copy of the memo from the treasurer concerning travel policy violations. And Arsen, do you have anything to say about that other than what we have in the memo?
No, I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention and throw it out there to see what kind of suggestions you have in trying to rectify some of these.
Well, we do have a travel policy, don't we? Yeah, that's what we've got to live with. So, there's no point in having a policy if we're not going to live with it. I don't know how other people feel about it.
Yeah, people should be abiding by it.
And I think that we should, reimburse people within the limits of the policy. But give them fair warning ahead of time. But that's the way it's going to be. Would you like a memo sent from us? Would that help you?
Yeah, that'd be good. I have reminded them in the past, so.
Well, I'd be happy to send a memo out to each employee. I think everybody should be notified beforehand, by the board. I know you've done your part.
One suggestion, I was speaking with Arsen about this afternoon, that I would have just in looking over the travel policies. There doesn't seem to be anything included in it on how an employee can reimburse the village should they somehow exceed the limits on a per meal basis or on a daily basis. And that might be something that would help if the situation does occur, there is some policy or procedure in place so that an employee can actually go ahead and reimburse the village if necessary. So that might be something I'd be happy to take a look at it and see, put together some suggestions maybe to look at next time.
I think that's
So-
fine. I think that we probably should review that whole policy. Well, it's been,
In the meantime,
5
we do have
years.
a policy.
Yeah, we do have a policy.
Right, in the meantime, we should be following the policy, but that is just one thing that I think is missing from it, that would be very useful to see how someone would go about reimbursing the village should the need arise.
And if you look at some of the receipts or whatever, Arson's certainly got a point.
Absolutely,
You know?
absolutely. I think he's given us some good things to think about, so. Mhm.
Okay, anybody else? And, Mr. Mayor, earlier this evening, we had a meeting of the committee for the celebration of Independence Day next year, and Trustee Jefferson and I were there, and it was a very, very good meeting, I think. We had representatives from all but two of the committees that were asking people to head up at the meeting, and we're going ahead as of now booking people for the parade and other events that are going to be happening. There seems to be quite a bit of enthusiasm from the people. It's kind of early for people to get enthusiastic about it, but they are.
Oh, we're still looking for volunteers still.
Yes,
So.
any of you folks that want to, we'd be happy to have you. It's a lot of hard work, and you don't get anything out of it but satisfaction, but it's good work. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Huckrow. Trustee Penfield.
I just have two quick things. One of them is a report on the store opening. It seems like Save-A-Lot has been a very positive addition to the village. Most people seem very satisfied. They've done a very good business over the couple of weeks that they've been open. So we certainly want to welcome them again, and everyone seems very pleased. So I'm very happy that the residents are doing well with the new store. And the second thing I have, again, for Doug, I don't know, are you going to discuss Maple Street, Doug? Because I've received a lot of questions and a lot of comments about it, but we'll be talking about that later. Okay, I'll save my questions for then. That's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Penfield. Trustee Jefferson.
Okay, I just have a couple of things tonight, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to make a motion to issue a negative declaration in accordance with the State Environmental Quality Review Act. You all have a copy of it, I believe. And basically, the work that we're doing in the village and the sewer is not having any kind of negative impact on the environment, and so I'd like to make a motion to issue the negative declaration.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, vote by using sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried.
Okay, Bev, the Chamber of Commerce request, is that the one where they wanted to send somebody for the,
It's regarding the,
That's the operations.
okay, yeah. I'm gonna
that was
try,
tabled from the last meeting.
I'm gonna try to go to that, I believe it's, I haven't got my notes, I think it's November 14th. But they wanted somebody to go from the village, because they
Tuesday,
want
November 12th, at 6 PM.
Tuesday, November 12th. Okay, I'll know when I check the schedule on that. Or I can go to that, I'm going back on afternoon shifts. I just have one other thing to report on tonight, the sewer project, the contract number 2. Luck Brothers began October 24th, 2002. The initial project meeting was held on October 29th, 2002 to define added water main work. And Luck Brothers intends to work as long as the weather permits. Some work in the spring will be required. So you know that Maple Street's torn up, it's gonna be dug up for a while. You can't pave it till after the work is completed. The easements are signed along Lake Street, and they're awaiting the permit from the New York State Department of Transit. And the overall project, the outfall permit application has been completed. No known outstanding technical questions have been brought up. The design was verbally accepted by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and EPA have visited the sewer project, and they came down to the wastewater plant on September 10th to discuss an old overflow of the south end pump station. New program with the EPA will no longer allow the occasional overflow from the sewers during the spring thaw. This will mean that New York State Department of Environmental Conservation will issue a consent order to the village. And since the village is already working on the upgrade, this may actually benefit the village by increasing the loan score. And a pilot study on various chemicals to control phosphorus will be conducted in the next few months. And also, I'd like to report that I'm very impressed with the new store. The business is good. Again, we're reminding people, shop in Rouses Point. Don't just cherry pick, do all your shopping. Save environmental, save the gas, and support the local economy. That's all I have to report tonight.
How about your executive session?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have an executive session too tonight, excuse me, I forgot about that, okay, yeah, we're gonna have, this will be a quick one too, I'd like to request an executive session on wastewater treatment personnel.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, roll call vote, trustee Menard.
Aye.
Trustee Huckrow. Trustee Penfield.
Aye.
Trustee Jefferson.
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye. That's it.
Can I go back to Maple Street though?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't understand a word you said. I'm sorry, but I didn't. Do we have any kind of a timeline, Doug or Eric, on what, just so we can give people an idea? Because I've had a lot of people saying, you know, we obviously started the project very late in the year. And people have been calling me or running into me and asking me questions about it. Is there any rough estimate that we can give people? Well, for the last time John Carr was here, I understood him to say, for example, that we were gonna patch pave. But then from the last meeting, I understand that we are not gonna patch pave at all over the winter. I mean, I just think we have to tell people what to expect, that's all.
Where the project is right now, as Brian had indicated, we had a meeting on the 29th to define added water main work. With the new force main coming from the south end pump station and going up to just behind Shazy Hardware, we incorporated some water work because we're going to be digging right straight through there, disrupting services. So we made it. It was decided to utilize the digging at the same time to do some water work. When we got digging and excavating, it was noticed that some of the old drawings and some of the information provided to the design engineer wasn't completely accurate. So that's where the additional scope came from. It was intended that we're going to go through all in Maple, change the water lines over to a 10-inch line and abandon a 4-inch line that's presently there, then do the force main work. Luck Brothers intends on working until the weather stops them.
Okay.
Their original schedule calls for probably shutting down in mid-December. They will continue longer than that if the weather allows, but right now their schedule shows shutting down in mid-December and then starting back up in the spring when the frost has got out of the ground, and then probably continue it another 3 or 4 weeks.
So for the winter, are we just gonna see the cuts that are there across the road, or are they gonna be taking out any of the lanes, tarmacking, or?
Right now, what's planned is that as we'll be going down, like you see on the south end of Maple,
Right.
you'll see a lot more of that going the whole length of Maple, and we plan on bringing the gravel back up to the same level as the asphalt and compacting it, and hopefully we'll see less of the dips that we do now, but the intention is to stay with the gravel for the winter.
How's that gonna be for plowing, Robbie?
Once it freezes, it won't be bad.
Okay.
Once it freezes down.
So when they compact it, it won't be actually gravelly, that's gonna get kicked up, or?
Well, everybody's got to remember, you got an awful project started there.
Right.
And you got about $1 million worth of electrical going in there. And I can't go in until these guys are done. So that's gonna hold the project a little bit longer on your road bed. It's not going to get done as quick as you think. Because we gotta come up through there and make all our crosses before they put the tarmac down.
Right.
So, they might not see road bed in there until maybe next September, somewhere in that area.
But I'm just saying, we need just to let people know what to expect. That's
Yeah,
all.
well, most people do. They just everybody knew it was gonna happen. They've been complaining about this road for years. And now it's gonna come to reality. Now it's, it's like, well, I don't, no mess in the front of my house. Well, everything's gonna be tore up. There's gonna be a mess in there all winter long and all spring long until we get this thing up where it belongs.
Right, although most of the people that I've talked to are not residents of Maple Street. They're people who just drive on the street and they're
I
just
know.
looking for an idea of
Yeah, but
what
they all,
they're gonna see.
that's one of the problems with doing a project like that. No matter where you got machinery, everybody wants to go by there. When the road's closed, everybody wants to go up that road. And they gotta begin to realize they gotta use these back streets and trying to get by where the guys are working. It just makes it twice as hard.
Yeah, I think there's a curiosity there, there's
Yeah.
a question. and-
Everybody's curious, and they wanna see what's going on. But also, on the other hand, that all the sidewalks are coming out of that, off Maple Street, all the way from one end to the other. So Maple Street is gonna be very rough until next fall. So, a lot of people they know it, they don't wanna realize it at this stage of the game.
Would it be worth posting each end with local traffic only on Champlain and on Pratt, or does it matter?
It doesn't really matter. The way these guys are working, when they're done, everything's gonna be back up to snuff anyway, so they can pass through.
They're doing that every day, Kelly. They're posting the
I know
area
that.
they're working.
Yes, I know that,
local traffic.
yeah, sure.
So the rest of the road is open speed.
I know it is, but I just wondered, if that's
It's
all.
gonna get worse before it gets better.
So-
That's the bottom line. Like you heard tonight talk today, you have to dig up so you can replace stuff. And if we pave it and then we dig it out, it's gonna be more expensive, so.
But at least for the winter, it should just be the cuts, just so that people have an idea who drive on the road.
It's gonna be just like on the south end, it's
Right.
gonna be the cuts with the gravel in there.
Okay,
After the plow, and you won't even know the cuts are in there after the plow,
Okay.
after it freezes.
same thing on Pine?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it, Brian?
That's it for me, George, tonight.
Thank you. Trustee Jefferson. Bev?
The only thing I want to tell you is that our new village codes are here, and for the public's information, the code of the village of Rouses Point is now available on internet. If anybody has any questions, they can view it for themselves. You just go in on www.generalcode.com, pull up Village of Rouses Point, and your entire code is there for you to see any part of it. That's about all.
You have a good vacation.
Yes, and I'm so happy to come home. There's lovely weather.
You're tan too, what's that?
Arsen?
I just have one announcement. I got an email today from the New York State Comptroller's Office. We are receiving an electronic fund transfer tomorrow morning, or sometime tomorrow, in the amount of $150,000 for the grant on the fire truck.
I want to talk to that salesman to see how we're going to handle that. But he was gone all last week at the New York State Association of Fire Districts Conference. Maybe I can get him tomorrow.
Should Arsen, maybe? You need to talk to him, Arsen, or no?
Not at this time, until after I know that we have the money in the bank, then we'll start the ball rolling.
Thank you, sir. Bobby?
No.
Thank you. Chief Craig?
No, nothing at this time, sir.
Open the meeting to, well, Eric? Or Doug?
I'm all set, sir.
Open meeting to the public at this time. Anybody wishing to address the board may do so at this time.
Russ Gadway from Lakeview Avenue. I just want to follow up on what Rosemary said. Is there a way we can kind of, because I've only been a landowner for about 3 months up there, and so I haven't got the aggravation that some of these have been there 21 years. Okay, but I could, 20 years now, I might have that aggravation. Is there a way we can formally approach, and I say once more, because I don't know when it was years ago, they were that close. I'm saying, what, can we do it formally?
No idea at this time. I will be talking with Mr. Perkins from Gas and Electric this week and find out, where we can go.
Okay. I mean,
Bob Perkins is a fairly reasonable man. I mean, he may say no, but at least he'll sit down and talk.
no, but I mean, something that we can at least get comfort feeling back here that, yeah, you've gone the full yard and done it formally and said, whatever. If they say no, definitely not, but at least we have reassurance you've done the full yard and they say no.
I intend to contact him this week.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, you'll probably be at that hearing too.
Just so you understand the whole room, you've got like 15 or 20 households that are getting part village services, but because of this past law, they can't get the other half of village services. You know?
I'm not even sure they can. We're not sure.
I don't know. Well, I think people are looking for at least a comfort level to say, okay, they've done the full yard, we formally requested it, they formally said no. You know?
We'll do the best we can.
Okay,
That's all we can do.
thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, I need a motion for recess for 5 minutes.
So
Got
moved.
it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We stand adjourned and recessed. And I thank you folks for coming.